You're listening to the Apotheora Conversations, a speculative fiction podcast set in an alternate timeline diverging from real events on the 1st of March 2026. All voices and content are AI generated.
I pulled the overnight sequencing at 5 in the morning, and 3 treatment arms showed viral reservoir reduction we had never recorded in this trial. I sat in my office at Hoorteskir, completely alone, staring at my screen, and I thought, either this is real, or it is an artifact that is going to break a lot of hearts.
Welcome to the Apotheora Conversations. I'm Paula Reese. This month, a multi-continental research partnership published Phase 2b results from a trial years in the making, an mRNA therapeutic vaccine targeting HIV, the virus that has claimed tens of millions of lives over 4 decades. The results show modest but real viral reservoir reduction across several thousand participants enrolled in 3 African countries, and the vaccine was manufactured at the continent's only WHO pre-qualified biomanufacturing facility. My guest is Dikeledi Mokoape, an immunologist and clinical trial coordinator who has run this trial from Cape Town for the past 2 years. Dikeledi, most people know mRNA from the COVID-era vaccines, but for you, this story started well before the pandemic.
Much earlier, yes. Those of us working in chronic viral immunology had been watching the mRNA platform for years before COVID, wondering whether it could be repurposed. HIV is a fundamentally different adversary than a respiratory virus. It integrates into the host genome, hides in latent reservoirs, mutates constantly. When the pandemic proved mRNA could generate robust immune responses at manufacturing scale, we did not just celebrate that victory. We saw a proof of concept for something much harder. The preclinical work after that took years, iterating on antigen design, figuring out how to train the immune system not to prevent infection, but to seek out and clear cells where the virus is already hiding. Many serious people thought it simply could not be done with this platform.
You enrolled several thousand participants across 3 countries. What does that work actually look like day to day?
It is the most human work I have ever done. Which sounds strange coming from someone who spends half her time reading sequencing data. Enrollment means sitting across a table from someone who has been living with HIV for years, sometimes decades, many of them stable on antiretroviral therapy, and explaining what you can and what you absolutely cannot promise. You are not offering a cure. You are asking them to trust a process whose outcome none of us know yet. On this continent, there is deep institutional memory about what clinical research has meant historically, who it served, and who it harmed. So our consent process was among the most thorough I have been part of, and it needed to be. What moved me was that people came back month after month for blood draws and follow-ups, because they believed it mattered for the generation behind them.
I want to ask about a detail that has not received enough attention. This vaccine was produced at a WHO pre-qualified biomanufacturing facility in sub-Saharan Africa, the only one on the continent.
That matters enormously, and I'm glad you are raising it. If this technology proves viable for diseases that disproportionately affect African populations, the manufacturing capacity has to exist here. We cannot repeat the dynamic where breakthroughs happen elsewhere and reach the people who need them most years later at multiples of the cost. The local manufacturing is not a footnote in this trial. It is the infrastructure proof of concept running in parallel with the scientific one, and both have to succeed.
So the Phase 2b results were published this month. Walk me through what you found.
14 participants dropped below the detection threshold, and I couldn't tell anyone for 6 months.
How do you sit across from someone at their follow-up knowing what you know?
You hold it like glass. You follow the protocol, draw the blood, ask about side effects, and you do not let your face change, because if you do, you are making a promise the data has not earned yet. That discipline is the hardest part of this work. harder than any overnight sequencing run, harder than any statistical model. Because these are people sitting in front of you, not data points. And they deserve honesty rather than premature hope.
The overall results show modest but statistically significant viral reservoir reduction across the treatment arms compared to placebo. In a field where the word cure has been dangled and retracted so many times, help me understand what modest but real actually means.
It means we demonstrated that an mRNA-based therapeutic can train the immune system to reduce the size of the latent viral reservoir in people living with HIV. The effect is real, it is reproducible across our 3 enrollment sites, and it is statistically significant. But it is not elimination, it is not a cure. It is a proof of mechanism. This approach works in human beings, not just in animal models. That is the honest framing, and I will fight anyone who tries to stretch it further right now. These are early days. We have been here before and been wrong. I have watched promising results collapse in Phase 3, watched entire research programs dissolve when the numbers did not hold. So please, anyone listening, hold this carefully. But I will also say this: wouldn't that be a good world to live in? A world where the technology we built in a panic to fight one pandemic quietly turns out to help us address one of the longest-running epidemics in human history. Wouldn't that be something worth all of this?
That question is going to stay with me for a long time. Let me ask about what comes next, because the broader implication here is about platform versatility. If this mechanism transfers to other latent viruses, where else could it go?
Hepatitis B is the obvious next candidate. It has a similar reservoir dynamic and affects hundreds of millions of people globally, with groups already working on early designs. But the principle is larger than any single virus. What we have shown is that mRNA can be used to teach the immune system tasks we did not think were programmable 10 years ago. I do not want to oversell that, because it is exactly what I just warned against. But the platform question is legitimate, and it is one of the most exciting things I have encountered in my career.
Last question, and it is personal. You have given 15 years to chronic viral immunology, much of that to work that might never have produced results at all. What keeps you at the bench at 5 in the morning?
The participants who come back. Every follow-up visit, they arrive on time, many of them having taken 2 buses to reach the clinic. They are not doing that for me or for the data. They are doing it because they believe this matters. And if they can hold that belief with everything they carry, then I certainly have no right to stop.
Dikeledi Mokoape is an immunologist and clinical trial coordinator based in Cape Town, South Africa. The Phase 2b results from the mRNA therapeutic HIV vaccine trial, conducted across 3 African countries and manufactured at the continent's only WHO pre-qualified biomanufacturing facility, were published this month. The full paper is available through open access. This is the Apotheora Conversations. I'm Paula Reese, and I will see you next month.